Very small video. It's the 18th of April 2026. I've just come into town to get the paper and a few bits. It's a lovely day. I walked through Grove Park, really pretty in spring. I love the fresh greenness of spring. So I thought, I'll just go for a little wander up in the wood. Just a small wander. Football's on later. England women play Iceland women in Iceland. That's on at 5:30, but probably starts 5 o'clock. But this is a little path I sometimes take when I've come up through the Grove Park, or I go back that way. It's beautiful, isn't it? This is spring, everyone. This is spring, it's beautiful. They've started labelling quite a few trees with lovely wooden plaques around town. Not up here, but in the parks. I think it's really good because I think I used to know more than I remember now, names of the trees. Obviously I know the basic ones. But, and of course I see trees all the time. Yeah, so I think it's a good idea for children as well to know what the trees are. But just like I said, I did used to know a lot more when I was a kid. I knew every bird. I knew what their nests were, what colour their eggs were, everything. I couldn't tell you now. I know seagulls are very scruffy nest builders. Out on the steep home when I went on the island, they really almost lay their eggs straight on the ground. They don't really take any care. Not like that swan I saw the other day. The care that swan was taking, almost weaving a big round nest for the eggs to protect them. There were 2 large white eggs in the nest. Only one swan that I could see, but they usually are in pairs. The robins, the leaves, aren't they? Yeah, the other video just cut out a bit. A few bluebells about. A few people. There's always more people if you feel worried about walking in the wood. Saturdays especially. And in the daytime, you know, there's usually more people around if you don't feel very safe. Usually. But I think it's been quite quiet, even in town. They've got like a food event going on. There's lots of different people selling different types of food. I always get hungry when I walk through there, thinking, oh, I'd love to have one of those hot dogs. I never do. I remember when this path here, this main path over there, backbone of the fort really, the high up one anyway, there's one down the other side, and this is just a little, like a tributary really, path, almost like a stream, part of the network, the trees, and they all join up the roots. And when I first explored here, say 15 years ago, this was very, very dense woodland here. You couldn't see through there. The path was very, very narrow. It was a lot more thick with vegetation. But, yeah, bluebirds popping up on. It would take them quite a while. They'd have to have a lot of permission, I think, to slaughter every tree here. Now this is where I'm going to make a decision whether to turn back now, because I can go up to the tower and then do a little path around and then go back home, or I can turn left here, go down the north side, do a little bit more. I don't know. I really don't know what to do, really. I'm in two minds. There are lots of decisions I could do. Something tells me not to do too much today because I'm supposed to be going out tomorrow. So maybe I won't do too much today. These lovely trees, look at them everyone. I've got some beautiful photos here that I took, some of my best photos ever with the Sony. And it was a morning walk, or it could have been late afternoon, I'm not sure. It was when the mist was rising and it was touching like the sun or something was out, and it showed these beautiful sunbeams. And on my YouTube account I've got one of those pictures which I'll always leave on there, and it was from here. I stood over there somewhere and took some photographs this way. In fact, that particular day I took quite a few photos, and it was nice. Yeah, I'm not going to do too much today. I'm really enjoying this little walk, and I feel better. I'm glad I got up here because I was feeling, I had to have a puff on the inhaler a minute ago before I come up here. So that's probably helping. But as soon as I get up here, it's like peace. Get the old jogger running through. People with their dogs. Some people with their children. Right, I'm going to turn off, folks. It's so gorgeous. Right, just a last little video, really. I'm not doing I decided not to overdo it today because I plan to go out tomorrow, Sunday. There's football on later. But I am enjoying the fresh air and the greenery. Don't forget, I've been coming here all year, telling when it's been naked and bare here. Now you've got the bluebells popping up everywhere, look. And there's various little tracks I can do and just gently wander along them without overdoing it. God, that looked like blackbird, a female blackbird with a male blackbird after her. I'm still waiting for someone to come along. No, not really. Too late, isn't it? Joke. Oh dear, never mind. You never know how your life's going to end up, you know. Never really know. Not till the last minute, either. There's a lot I wouldn't change, but there's one or two things I think I would have taken if I'd known what I know now. I think I would have taken quite a sharp turnabout, not just change of direction. Exactly. But you can't go back, unfortunately. There's some things I don't want to go back for. But you never, like I say, you never know. For example, if my mother hadn't died when I was 14, how would my life have turned out then? I might never have moved out of Somerset and explored places. And things like that, you know. I'm quite happy with what lot of things I've done. I've enjoyed my education, and I was carrying on my education with Future Learn for quite a few years. Archaeology, history, genealogy, forensics. I did a whole mixture of things with them. Great, I really enjoyed it. My experience with them, because it wasn't threatening, there was no pressure. But you could learn a lot. It wasn't like exam based or anything like that. And you were guided, you know, and given reading materials and things like that. I quite like that. You know, I know you can just go to the library and pick up a load of books or go online. But when it's a little bit of structure, it sometimes motivates you a bit to get into it. Didn't need much motivation. I loved a lot of it. It was very good videos. It was more participatory than the one I did with Cambridge University. I did a course with them, quite expensive, on death and burial and all that around the world. But I didn't find it very interactive. I was hoping it was going to be a Zoom experience. I really thought it was going to be, you know, like interaction more, and it wasn't. So basically it was just not very good lecturer. I'm not knocking her at all. Very good lecturer, and knew her stuff and things like that. And you could share your own feelings and thoughts. But it was just really a load of material to get through. And then answer some questions on it all, you know. Right, over out, somebody's coming. Decided, I got to my junction point, which was there, going back into town and everything. And I thought, why don't you just do another little section, just a small piece. So I go up here, go along, and then come back round the track over there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have another half an hour of lovely fresh oxygen produced by the very busy little factories, which are the leaves of the trees, doing photosynthesis. Yeah, I think also, looking back at my life, I think I would like to, I did love biology. I did a lot of biology. I liked sociology. I liked history. There were so many things I liked, and I tried to learn maths if I could, you know. Didn't have a very good experience with maths at school. But I learnt a lot. I had to do a course with the OU, a whole year of maths with them, before I could do the science thing. I really enjoyed all that, you know. And yeah, my education, I enjoyed it all. I loved studying. And then, of course, later in life, I was doing a doctorate in health, but decided I was bored with academia, and it was costing me a lot of money, and it wasn't a good time for me financially then. So I packed it in. I thought I don't need to do any more, and I got fed up with the NHS. I'd done my masters and all that. I thought, no, I like family tree. I developed this brilliant hobby. And when I retired early, I got a camper van, and I went all around the UK digging up the ancestors, which I still do a bit now, because my kids provided me with wheels. But because the weather's so bad, and I have to camp still. It's not a camper van, I've got to have a tent. So it's very, very limited times when I can go off like that. I mean, I occasionally stay in hotels, but I can't, you know, it's all expense. But yeah, I love learning. I love being out here. It inspires me when I'm out here. Just breathing the oxygen. I always say I've got to get up the woods. I've got to get me oxygen. Right, I'm going to turn off. There's some lovely pictures of some bluebells. Where they've got a little bit of sun and a little bit of shade here. Like I said, I didn't want to go back. I wanted to have another half an hour up here. It's too nice to go back and sit in a box when you haven't got a garden, you see. You go back and I get straight onto the tree usually, get something to eat, have a cup of tea, and then I do a lot of work in the winter on my trees, ready in preparation for the more explorations that I'll be doing on the family when I go up to Cambridge and Suffolk, mainly up those areas. I'd like to go to other areas as well, but I do find at 74 my energy levels have dropped quite a lot compared to how I used to be. But we get inspired. That keeps us going and motivated. So this is Sheila. Well, I come across this yew tree as I was leaving the wood. I noticed a different colour bark. Then I looked at this log someone had carved out. It says, open your mind. Then if you go around the corner, It's a picture of a man with a moustache. Look. Open your mind. Yeah, there are. That's interesting, that, isn't it? There are people that really love trees that are up here, and some people leave little rocks and stones, pebbles, sometimes little ornaments they place by trees, little notes they leave by them. Yeah, that's the first time. I bet that'll go missing. Someone will take that home, I think. Yeah, because I've seen other things up here. I've seen a lovely thing once before, a carving, and it was had the runes stones by it. That went missed. That was there for about a couple of weeks, and that went. Whether the person who put it there took it back, I don't know. But someone's taken time to carve that. The yew tree, as you enter and leave the wood, really, almost. This is a very ancient part of the wood where all the yew trees hang out. This is my way down, back to civilized, well, I don't know if it is civilization anymore. I don't know what civilization means anymore after what they've been doing in the Middle East. I just think the world's gone, not the whole world, not everybody, not all the life. Certain people that got the power are just riddled with evil, I think. Riddled. Yeah, in all my 74 years, I've never, I know the wars all wars are horrible, Second World War, First World War, all that, but I've never, and the Vietnam, you know, there were, and Afghanistan, all wars are horrible, but there's something really evil about this, because no one's learnt from the past wars, and the killing is in extreme. In fact, it's worse, because you've now got drones. You've got these sophisticated weaponry, and very predetermined sort of stuff, you know. And I think it's worse, and I think it won't get any better. I worry about the planet, really. I worry about the life, the beauty, and this terrible warrior gene that seems to be infectious and deceiving. I mean, in Russia, for example, they've lost nearly 2 million young people, and they're referred to as meat. I listened to this program on Radio 4 not that long ago. They were interviewing some of the Russians and some of the captured Russians, and they were saying we're seen as meat. When's the next batch of meat coming? Now, doesn't that sum something up? They were quite prepared for them to be slaughtered because they're meat. And that could happen to anyone who volunteered to work, to go to war with the Russians as well. Volunteers. They lure them with money, apparently. And it's all right for the first, say, couple of days. Then they turn on them and they become almost slaves of war. Meat. Anyway, that's not a very nice note to hang on this walk with, but it does make you, it said back there, open up your mind. Well, that's what I do all the time. I like that. That little log back there, I like that. I like to think there are people wandering about here who think, critical thinkers. I like it. Over and out.